What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F123 My Team career mode, and we're here for round number 10 of season 7 of our Jaguar racing career. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's been a while since this track has been on the calendar. It was obviously missing for season 6, but we're finally back. It's going to be a sprint weekend, so we've got two big opportunities to score points here, and maybe an opportunity to get a back-to-back win for the first time this season. We won last time in Spain. It was a close race, and eventually I managed to prevail. I was the beneficiary of a pretty fortunate set of circumstances where Esteban Ocon had mechanical issues towards the end of the race, which allowed me to catch him and overtake him, and as a result we currently sit top of the championship by 4 points. The first time this season that we have been leading the Drivers' Championship, and let's hope that we are able to stay there now for the remainder of the season. But I do also hope that it is a close fight the entire way. We've currently been on a decent run of form. Obviously, you know, we had some good results in the race leading up to Spain as well. Yeah, hopefully this one will be able to be a good one for us as well, because we've been struggling quite a lot to get into a consistent rhythm this season, due to the fact that we've had 3 mechanical failures within the space of 7 races. The last couple of races, Monaco and Spain, obviously we did finish, scored good points in both of them. We had a 4th place in Monaco. Yes, it was unfortunate because we started on pole that we couldn't finish first, but you know, still bagged 12 points there. We got the win in Spain, of course, but before that we had Imola, where we had a mechanical failure. We had a mechanical failure in the Grand Prix in Azerbaijan after bagging a decent result in the sprint race, and we DNF'd in the first round of the season in Bahrain as well. So at the moment we're running on an average of about 1 DNF every 3 races or something like that. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to have a good race here today in Austria. Like I said, 2 opportunities to score points gives us a really good chance of pulling away in the championship if we can have a good strong result. But the last few times I've driven at Austria, it's not been smooth sailing, I'll say that much. You know, we've struggled quite a lot to keep cars behind. My qualifying pace has usually been pretty good around here, but then I've struggled a little bit more to really address the race pace. So hopefully we'll be able to get on top of that here in the race. We did go fastest in practice. However, it was a bit of a strange practice session, because despite the fact that there was only 1 practice before qualifying, only 8 people actually decided to set times, and only 1 other driver in Alex Albon decided to do them on soft compound tyres. So me and him are the only people with any experience on the soft compound tyres going into the sprint race, or going into the qualifying, I guess, for the sprint. Obviously, the sprint format in this game a bit different to the sprint format in real life. It goes qualifying, sprint, race, as opposed to in real life where it's obviously sprint, qualifying, sprint, qualifying, race, like that. Yeah, we are going to see now what kind of time we can do in the qualifying, and whether we can get the pole position for the sprint or not. It's a 102.9 on our first flying lap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. We're good enough for P2 at the time. We get pushed down to P5 over the course of the session, but we do improve fractionally over the course of the lap on our second flying lap, and it's a 102.6 as we cross the line, which is good enough to put us in P1 and get us through to Q2 with no real headaches. So yeah, very happy with that, and hopefully we'll be able to make it through to Q3 without any real headaches either. Charles Leclerc coming P2, nice to see. It's a 1-2 for the team, and knocked out here in Q1, Magnussen, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Doohan, Stroll and Pourchaire. The only real surprise here, Max Verstappen, you would have to say. Of course, he's a 2-time world champion, and this season it's not looking like he's going to be adding to that tally with the performance that he's been putting up in the first rounds. I think he's not even scored that many points so far this season. I don't know the exact position he is in the championship, but it's not gone well for him so far. So to make it through into Q2, do our first flying lap on a used set of soft compound tyres, and we do a 102.7, so it's less than a 10th slower than our fastest lap so far over the course of the weekend. So maybe we'll be able to find a bit more improvement now as we make our way onto our final flying lap of Q2 on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. And you can see we've improved by almost 5/10 of a second actually. There's a 102.2 as we cross the line, which, as I'm sure you are aware, is good enough to get us through to Q3 and P1. So yeah, Nice that that has worked out the way it has, and hopefully we'll be able to continue showing some good pace when we get through to Q3 as well. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc did not make it through P12, but you know, it was a pretty tight field. He joins Vesti, Lawson, Dennis Hauger, another championship contender, Joe and De Vries in the drop zone. So yeah, I think Hauger and Leclerc will be the ones who are most disappointed to be knocked out there. Vesti as well. It's a super close championship fight, and yeah, I mean, anyone who's making it through into Q3 is showing some serious pace at this point. We do another banker lap in Q3, of course. It's a 102.7 again, so pretty consistent on the used soft compound of tyres at the moment, but obviously we'll need a bit of improvement over that if we want to gun for pole position. Unfortunately, we managed to find a 8/10 improvement as we make our way into the final sector now, and yeah, coming around the final corners on what is a very short lap, only a little over a minute in length. We're going to cross the line. It's a 101.9, which is a time I'm very happy with, and yeah, we got pole position off the back of that, so hopefully we'll be able to win in the sprint tomorrow.
Qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Robinson, Russell and Oscar Piastri. Goodbye for now then, but we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, we've out-qualified George Russell by 0.4 of a second, which is great to see. It means that hopefully we'll be able to beat him in the sprint and in the race, but it does still give him options to close us down in the championship if he can get ahead of us. So we'll have to see who will prevail. Will it be me? Will it be George Russell? Will it be somebody else? We'll see who's going to win as we get into the sprint for the Austrian Grand Prix.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Robinson lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Fittipaldi, Sargent, Norris, Ocon, Perez, Albon, Vesti, Leclerc, Liam Lawson, Hauger, Joe, De Vries, Magnussen, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Doohan, Stroll and Teo Pourchaire. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
So the goal for today has to be fairly simple, you would have to imagine. It's just going to be a simple case of hoping that we can go from first place on the grid to the win, but immediately as we pull away from the line on the formation lap, I've realised I may have made a slight blunder here, and perhaps a little bit of a miscalculation, because everyone else is starting on the soft compound tyres. We're going to be going on a set of medium compound tyres. It's a 36 lap race tomorrow, right? And it is a 12-lap sprint, because obviously it's a third of the distance. So we have to do 12 laps on the medium tyres. Now the mediums supposedly can do up to 26 laps. I really feel like this was a mistake going onto the medium tyres, but yeah, I was very worried at the time. I was like, oh man, we're going to go backwards. So we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've actually had a surprisingly good getaway considering the circumstances, as Russell kind of fails to really get off the line there very well, and it's Piastri and Gasly now directly behind me. Piastri getting a good start up into P2. Meanwhile, Fittipaldi's also had a good start. He's up in P5 now as a result of that, and I think he's putting some pressure on George Russell behind as well. Yeah, Fittipaldi up into P4. You know, this is my former teammate from Season 1, Enzo Fittipaldi, of course. And he's been at Williams ever since then, and things just seem to be getting better and better for that team at the moment, as they've been fairly competitive. And as we make our way onto the start of lap 2. Let's see now whether we're going to be able to defend from Oscar Piastri or not. You can see he stayed right with us at the moment. We had a pretty good first lap and managed to stay in the lead on these medium compound tyres. But here's where the soft compound tyres are really going to come into play as Oscar Piastri goes for a move up the inside, but he just can't quite make the move stick at the moment and has to settle for P2 still. But I think he might come back at me on the run down the hill into the next corner. Yeah, he goes to the inside once again, brakes nice and late, but is it late enough to get around, or up the inside of me I should say, around the corner up the inside? Actually I think it is, as we go wide on the exit of the corner, and that's Oscar Piastri up into P1 in the sprint for the time being, but hopefully we'll be able to stay with him. That said though, with those soft compound tyres, he will have a bit of a pace advantage over me, so we're going to have to hope that the DRS kind of carries us to victory here. Obviously the DRS has now been enabled, and yeah, with 5 tenths separating us, I don't know if we'll be close enough to make a move into the braking zone here. In fact, no, we're nowhere near. Still 3 tenths behind on the entry to the braking zone, but on the exit of the corner we're going to be much closer to him this time. Only 2 tenths of a second separates us. I think he maybe had a bad exit from the corner or something, or maybe we just had a really good one. And we're going to try and go round the outside at the following hairpin, and I think we actually might be able to make this one stick on this occasion. Oscar Piastri pinched to the inside. I think he might try and get back around the outside of us through the next corner, but yeah, we're wise to that. Block him off and make our way up into P1 once again in the race. So it got a bit hairy for a second there, but hopefully we'll just be able to stick with this one for the remainder of the race now. Meanwhile, Fittipaldi, you can see, has made his way up to P3, so he's going to be standing not on the podium, of course, because the podium comes tomorrow, but he will be in the top 3 at the end of the sprint, which I think will be the first time that he'd finish top 3 in a competitive session if he can get there. As Piastri goes for a bit of a lunge up the inside, but he goes way too deep, and we just go for the cutback on him. All this is really doing is inviting Fittipaldi into the battle. You know, he's not too far behind now, only a second behind myself. So if we're not careful, he could potentially be looking for a move into the lead of the sprint as well. How amazing would that be for him to win his first competitive session after goodness knows how long. I mean, it's nearly 7 seasons in the sport for him as well. He came up at the same time I did. Obviously, you know, he was my first teammate, and it's great to see him succeeding now as we make our way onto lap 5. Piastri still not got past me yet, but I think he's going to go for another move now into turn 3, and yeah, goes up the inside, but we just sweep back around the outside, and Oscar Piastri still unable to make the move, and now he's actually not too far ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi. I think Fittipaldi's gone for a move into P2. So right now it's myself and my former teammate just behind as we make our way onto lap 6. A second now separating Fittipaldi and myself, as he was battling with Piastri a little bit, and there's a yellow flag behind. I'm not sure what this is for. I think, oh my god, no, it's for Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi's out of the race. He's out of the sprint. That is so disappointing for the Brazilian driver in the Williams. You know, he was on course to maybe finish P2 here today in the sprint, or even potentially challenge me for the victory. But you know, between his DNF and all his battling with Piastri and that kind of thing, that's held the field up quite significantly. So we now have a 2.4 second gap over Piastri, and I think we're probably going to be able to hold on to this one as Sergio Perez is out of the race. And yeah, that's the second retirement here in the sprint. Another retirement for the Ferraris as well. It feels like we can't even go one race without having a Ferrari retiring at the moment. It must be infuriating for the team, but you know, it is interesting to see from our perspective as well that Ferrari just seem to be completely capitulating with an incredibly talented driver lineup of Verstappen and Perez. But as we round the final corner, we're going to cross the line to take P1 in the sprint, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to take that result and we'll be able to convert it into another victory tomorrow in the race as well. Meanwhile, driver of the day is going to go to Esteban Ocon, who I guess had a pretty good race there, and yeah, it is P1 for us.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Robinson increases their championship lead. Well, that wraps up sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of this famous race. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. 700 metres above sea level, 10 corners and one of the shortest laps of the season. 2.6 miles with some good overtaking opportunities, but you've got to get the braking right into turn 1 and turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Robinson lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Russell, Norris, Vesti, Leclerc, Liam Lawson, Sargent, Hauger, De Vries, Stroll, Doohan, Magnussen, Teo Porcher, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Joe, Perez, and Enzo Fittipaldi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And Anthony Davidson joins us for this one. And great to have your company. There's no weather to worry about here. What will be going through the drivers' minds as they finish these last-minute preparations?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Well, my target for the sprint was simple. It was just to get the victory there. We succeeded in that goal. So once again, the target again is just to win. That's all we want to do here. We just want to get the victory by any means necessary. This time we are going to be starting on the soft compound tyres, and then we're going to be switching over to the medium compound tyres on lap number 14, going for a little bit of an undercut on the cars around us. We've actually been pretty good on our tyres so far this weekend. Definitely we could have made the soft work in the sprint, but nonetheless I was just glad that we got the victory. Yeah, Esteban Ocon managed to make his way up to P3 in the sprint actually. I don't remember where he started, but I know he wasn't even in the top 5 at the start of the race on lap 1. So yeah, clearly made up a few positions in a very short space of time, and he could be a real threat today, I think, if he can get ahead of Oscar Piastri early on in the race. We will see how that unfolds. Other than that, I think Piastri will probably be my biggest threat today. I can't see Gasly and Albon really getting involved in this battle too much, Albon on the mediums especially, but we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've had, I think, a pretty good getaway here by the looks of things. Piastri slow off the line once again, and it's Esteban Ocon who makes his way up into P2. Forget what I said about Albon not really being a threat on the mediums. He's already made his way up into P3. He's made 2 positions off the start. Pierre Gasly having a bit of a shocker there. He's already out of the top 5 as well. Esteban Ocon going to look for a move up the inside on me now into turn 3 and almost gets it done. But fortunately the outside line gives us a bit of a better run through the corner, and we're able to stay ahead of the French driver for the time being. But I think he's going to come back at us potentially. Not quite. I thought he was going to go for a move into the hairpin, but thought better of it. Speaking of Alpines, Frederick Vesti from, I believe, P8 on the grid has already made his way up 4 positions off the start. Got ahead of his teammate Pierre Gasly, who I'm not even sure where Gasly is. It looks like he's all the way down in P8 actually, so it's like Gasly and Vesti swapped positions off the start, just inverted positions off the start basically, which is kind of wild. But yeah, he's up to P4 now, so maybe he'll be able to get involved in the battle. But it just looks like it's going to be a bit of a 2-horse race here with myself and Ocon so far, as Ocon's going to look for a move to the inside at turn 1 into lap 2. But yeah, we're kind of doing alright at the moment, because Piastri, to be fair, he has caught up with us quite a little bit as a result of Ocon going for that audacious move into turn 1. But he was only 2 seconds down on us before, which, you know, in 1 lap is a pretty big margin. But he's kind of managed to bring himself back into the fight now as a result of that dive bomb from Esteban Ocon. But we're starting to pull away from Esteban Ocon actually. 9/10 is the gap now. And yeah, things starting to look pretty good for us here, I would say, and maybe we'll be able to just build a bit of a gap behind. But unfortunately, to make our way to the end of lap 3, you can see that hasn't really happened. Esteban Ocon currently lapping 0.7 of a second faster than me, and looking for a move up the inside at turn 1 once again. I'm going to try and hold him off around the outside, but well, I don't know how well this one's going to go for me, quite frankly, because he was very close to us, and yeah, I mean, you can see he's just absolutely blitzed us with the DRS there. And Oscar Piastri is going to look for a move as well. Dives up the inside, forces us a bit wide at the corner because he gets the braking zone slightly wrong, or goes for a bit of a lunge. And all that's really done, I think, has, at least for the time being, put Esteban Ocon in the driver's seat in this race, because now he's over a second in front of me. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to catch him or not. Lap 6, we're having a look at Frederick Vesti here, and unfortunately I think you've already figured out why I'm showing you a replay camera of Frederick Vesti. It's not good news. From P4 he was running in, he is out of the race, and he will be absolutely gutted with that. You know, he had a very strong start to the season. Recent races he's been scoring decent points, but he's not really been up there with the big boys, and today would have been a great opportunity for him to hopefully close some ground to the people at the top of the championship, but it won't be happening for the Danish driver today, unfortunately. As we come under more pressure from Oscar Piastri now. It's a yellow flag, for Christ's sake. What were you thinking was going to happen? I don't understand why he was even looking for a move there. But yeah, he decided he was going to go for a move up the inside, and all that's done is maybe lose more ground to Esteban Ocon. So as we make our way onto lap 8, I was just getting increasingly annoyed at the fact that I was having this battle with Piastri, because I was still feeling at this point like my true battle was with Esteban Ocon. You know, this is the driver who I'm looking to beat here. I want to get the victory. We outfoxed him in Spain. I say outfoxed him. His engine outfoxed him, or maybe his aerodynamic package outfoxed him, because he was very slow through the corners when he had that mechanical problem in Spain. I'm still thinking maybe he picked up some floor damage by going too wide at a corner or something like that. But yeah, whatever it was, as we get attacked by Piastri again, whatever it was, it enabled us to win in Spain and beat Esteban Ocon, and also we managed to finish ahead of Alex Albon that day, who had some pretty good pace. But here, it looks like we're just really struggling to stay ahead of Oscar Piastri. Although that said, whatever the attack he went for last time was, it's really cost him, because he was 2 seconds behind us after he went for that attack, and we were able to ride that all the way to the pit stop phase. Actually, coming on lap 14, nothing happened to us for about 5 laps after that point. You know, we had the pace to lap quicker than Albon and Piastri behind. So as we come into the pit lane, we are going to be going onto a set of medium compound tyres to the end of the race. 22 laps. Hopefully they hold up. Like I said, they can last up to 26 laps supposedly. So they will be fairly worn out by the end of the race. But, you know, if there's a safety car or something like that, I'm sure that we will be able to make that work as well. And not only that, but also, like I said, my tyre wear was not anywhere near the predicted level of tyre wear in this Grand Prix. So I definitely felt like I had the potential to go to the end without any real issues. However, we're coming under pressure now from Max Verstappen, who's currently running down in 14th. And I doubt he's stopped yet. So, I mean, look, this is just horrendous for Ferrari at the moment. You know, they've got one driver in 14th. They've got another driver all the way down in 21st. It's just really poor for them this season. And I don't know if or when they're going to bounce back at all. But I wouldn't be surprised if some mid-season driver changes were on the horizon for the prancing horse, because the performance of both Verstappen and Perez, initially I was just blaming it on Perez. I actually think he's ahead of Verstappen in the championship. I think it's both of them. They're just absolutely dreadful at the moment, as we've caught up to the back of Nick De Vries, who's actually been having a fairly solid time of things in that AlphaTauri recently. Currently finds himself at P8, although I don't think he's stopped yet. And we're going to try and dive to the inside of the Dutch driver in the AlphaTauri, make our way into P8, and yeah, this is good for us actually, because I think Piastri has already pitted. He's currently behind Verstappen as we sit behind Piastri's teammate Kevin Magnussen, who I guess has been asked to play the team game. If you watch the Miami Grand Prix this weekend, you'll know he's very good at doing that, but he's also coming into the pits on this lap, so we give him a bit of a wide berth through the last couple of corners, and we will be making our way up into P7 for the time being, but there's a few more cars in the pits, including Leclerc and Sargent and Russell. So yeah, as we make our way into turn 1 on lap 17, we're in P4, and well, the good news is that Esteban Ocon still hasn't pitted. So we have a real opportunity to undercut him today, and I think we may actually pull it off as well. But he's actually just fractionally ahead of us on the exit of turn 1 on lap 18. You can see here Esteban Ocon. The gap is about 1/10 or so. We don't have any DRS on this occasion, but in the next DRS zone we will. So I think there is a real opportunity to get ahead of him here. We actually almost went into the back of him in the braking zone. I guess he's still warming his tyres up, so the brakes still a little bit cold. And yeah, he almost caused me to go into the back of him just through the early braking. It would have been my fault, obviously, but we did eventually manage to get ahead of him there. He had some crazy straight line speed though. We had DRS and ERS, and he was still sticking with us as he goes for a move to the inside on lap 19 now, but we're going to hang around the outside and stay ahead of Esteban Ocon for the time being. And I think if I'm going to win, this is going to be a battle that is going to be going on for the remainder of the race now, if I had to guess. I think Esteban Ocon is just going to keep coming and coming and coming because, you know, he's got nothing to lose. He lost out on a victory that he would have felt was almost nailed on for him in Spain last time out, and as a result you can see he's diving to the inside once again here on lap number 20, but we once again managed to keep him behind. And if we're going to keep battling, this is going to create a real opportunity for the likes of Piastri and maybe even Norris and Gasly behind as well, who you know, it's a bit of a train there. George Russell's involved there. Maybe this is Esteban Ocon's big play. Maybe if he's holding me up, it's to maximise the result for his team, see if Russell can make his way through the cars in front of him and get to me and then overtake me as well, because he's just relentless at the moment. It just feels like every single lap after lap after lap, he's looking for a move into turn 1, into turn 3, into turn 4, just about everywhere you can think of that he would be going for an overtake, he's going for it. And like I said, I guess it's because he's got nothing to lose. You know, I don't know where he is in the championship at the moment, but with a win here, that would certainly improve the situation for him quite nicely. So yeah, I'm sure that he's pretty keen to get a good result here today. I think, honestly, if he wins here today, I think there's only about a 4-point gap between him and George Russell, at least coming into the weekend. I don't know what it's like now with him finishing P3 and Russell finishing P6 in the sprint. I guess that would make it only a 1-point gap, which means if he wins here today, he might take the lead of the Drivers' Championship. I think I will be ever so slightly ahead if I finish P2, which with how much he's been holding me off here, you can see the battle's still raging on as I'm kind of just rambling about the championship fight. Yeah, once again, Esteban Ocon looking for a move. We go to the inside of him on that occasion and manage to cover him off, but it's just relentless between myself and Ocon at the moment. But yeah, he will be very close behind me if he wins this race, so I think it's absolutely imperative that we win here to try and extend our championship lead if we can. And as we make our way onto lap 24, we had a bit of respite from him, but only for about a lap or two. And here comes Esteban Ocon once again to the inside of turn 1. Can't quite get the move done on that occasion, but he will have the DRS through the next couple of DRS zones. Will he be close enough to go for a move into the next corner? You would have to imagine the answer is no. And actually, Oscar Piastri now is looking for a bit of a move on Esteban Ocon. That's going to hold them up quite significantly, and Ocon has lost the position to Oscar Piastri, and I've broken out of DRS range crucially. So can I start to break away now? Probably not, because Piastri had the DRS there and he's closed me down by a couple tenths of a second. As we make our way to lap 26, you can see Ocon has now got back past Piastri, and he's looking to make it a double as he goes for the move to the inside. Once again, Esteban Ocon goes for the overtake into the lead of the race, but still up the inside, he just can't get the line, he can't get the run through the corner that he needs to be able to make the move into turn 3, and as a result we stay in P1 still. But this race is just raging on between myself and Esteban Ocon. Who is going to win out in this battle? You know, leave your comments down below. Who do you think is going to win? If you you know, obviously you just skip ahead and find out, I guess, but if you aren't doing that, then yeah, let me know. Who do you think is going to be the victor here? Will it be myself? Will it be Esteban Ocon? Or again, will it be somebody else? As we make our way into lap 27 now, into the deeper part of lap 27, you can see we've built again a bit of a gap to Esteban Ocon, but it only stays a gap for a very short period of time, because once again here on lap 28, Esteban Ocon looking for a move, and this time he might have actually pulled it off as he dives to the inside. He's a full car length ahead. We almost plough into the back of him once again, and he has a bit of a poor run through the corner, which means we're going to be able to re-overtake him on the run down the hill into turn 4, and Esteban Ocon is going to have to settle for P2 still. He just can't quite get the move absolutely nailed. Esteban Ocon, you know, he is super close to pulling it off every single time, but it just feels like every time there is something that stops him, whether it's a bad run through the corner. You know, he had ample time to move back onto the racing line, Ocon, but he just couldn't get the run through turn 3 that he needed to be able to hold on to the lead, and with the DRS he was a bit of a sitting duck. But he's going to go for a move into turns 10 and 11 this time, Esteban Ocon, He just can't quite get it done though. You know, it's not an easy place to overtake by any stretch of the imagination. But he's going to have the DRS on the run into turn 1. Is he going to go for a move up the inside? He'll be pretty close by the time he gets to the corner, and yes, he does go for it. That may have just been a mistake for Esteban Ocon, because that's going to really compromise his run through the corner, and now he's over 1 second behind him. One behind me, I should say, and Lando Norris has benefited from that massively as he went for an overtake not only on Piastri but also on Ocon. I don't know who is going to win out in that battle between the two of those guys, but you can see the gap now to Ocon, 1.4 seconds. It seems like he has stayed ahead of Lando Norris, but he won't have the DRS on me, crucially, as Lando Norris will have the DRS on the Red Bull, but he can't quite get the move done. So it will be Ocon in P2 for the time being, and this has given us at least a little bit of respite here in this race. Not a lot, because I think Ocon will break back into my DRS range as long as he doesn't get held up further by the chasing pack of Ocon, Norris, Piastri and Russell. And it's another mechanical failure. Is this a joke? You actually couldn't write this. You couldn't write this. This is the 10th race of the goddamn season, man. The 10th race of the season, and it's my 4th mechanical failure. If you include sprint races, this is still only the 12th competitive racing session that we have done this season, which means it is 1 mechanical failure per 3 sessions we're running on at the moment, which is an absolute joke. This is comedy. This is comedy of the highest degree. I genuinely do not understand how it is even possible that the car has broken down this much. This is the Ferrari powertrain for you. I'm so sure that the game has got it scripted. You know, Ferrari powertrain equals mechanical failure more often than not, because it happens to the Ferraris as well. They've had so many DNFs this season. I've not really been paying attention to Haas and Alfa Romeo, whether they've had good reliability or not. But I mean, look, this is just absolutely infuriating, and it's killing my championship chances.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria, and a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, it was Esteban Ocon in the Red Bull who ended up closing out the race and getting the victory here today. And with that, he'll probably take over the lead of the championship, I think, now, because I've not scored any points. And then Lando Norris came home in P2, a good result for him. He's having a bit of good form here in the season. Oscar Piastri P3 as well. I think he'll be happy with that. Keeps his hopes of getting involved in the championship fight alive as well. But I mean, man, what a gutting result for us.
So let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Esteban Ocon takes over the lead in the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. Been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, it is not the end of the world, because we are only 16 points adrift of Esteban Ocon in the championship now. George Russell has overtaken us as well with a P4 finish there in the sprint. Charles Leclerc actually came through. He qualified 12th. He didn't score points in the sprint. I think he finished 9th if I remember correctly. But he did finish 5th in the race, so he picks up another 10 points. Decent result for him. Keeps himself sort of involved in the fight. Again, still less than 60 points separating the top 10 drivers in the championship. So I don't want to say it's anyone's game, but there's certainly a lot of people who I still think have a real opportunity to get themselves kind of involved in this championship battle as well. But yeah, I mean, look, for us, it's just another heartbreaking result. It's another race where I was on for the win. This is the 3rd time this season, maybe even the 4th time this season, you could argue, that I've been looking like I have the potential to win, and it's just not worked out for us. So hopefully we can bounce back next race in Britain. But that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.